So they had been there for like a long time, and they realized, hey, if we keep checking it, it's just gonna keep doing this. So they would stop checking. They just stopped checking, and they would just wait till the second time in a row, and then they would go and take a look. They'd be very casual about it, because they're trying not to make it happen with a ghost. But they noticed it had started picking up a lot more. So when I was working with a manager one night, she noticed I was going to the front a lot whenever, and she's like, "Why are you going to the front?" I'm like, "I hear the bell." She's like, "Was there everyone in the front? No. Was the door ever open? No." She's like, "Stop going to the front." Oh, door's closing. It was a normal thing that happened a lot. Like, it did. It happened a lot. And we had to hear someone would call our name, and sometimes you get people who are angry at you because they're like, "I rang the bell. Why aren't you reacting? You should have been here faster. I rang the bell." And it's like, they don't know we have a ghost. I don't think I should tell the customers, "Hey, sorry, I thought you were a ghost." I might just sound like an a-hole. Honestly. I probably just sound like one. A lot of witnesses. There were a lot of witnesses. This was like over a period of time, and we weren't telling anyone anything. It was just... It's one of those things that just, like... We were encountering it. We were dealing with it. I didn't want to just, like, bring people into it that didn't be involved. And if you didn't believe in that stuff, cool. Oh, it's just showing itself, okay. Sorry, where were we on this story? I wasn't talking about the bakery. I was kind of giving a rundown on something. I guess it's more of a sampling of everything I've gone through. There's been a lot of crazy stuff. Like, there really has been. And typically when I tell people stories about, like, what I've gone through, it's gonna be the stuff I've had, like, witnesses for, you know? I think it's the poltergeist. Boo. It's in, bro. Let's see. Well, if you guys are interested, I can tell you some stories. Just tell me which ones you guys are interested in more. There's the stories involving the bakery, childhood home. There is the old apartments. Ugh. Wait, why am I down here in the first place? Right! Yep, let's go. Bakery? Okay. There aren't too many stories for the bakery one, because... I don't know, I didn't really notice sometimes. So, I realized there was a ghost there because I got a name from something, but I thought, oh, it's probably because of a guy I was talking to lately. Okay. Which was Frank. Who else is named Frank? And I'm like, okay, it's gotta be it, because who else do I know or gonna meet in my generation that's named Frank? Even for, like, older guys, usually I don't hear anything about the name like, with customers and stuff. So, I just take it as, like, not a big deal. Okay, the name I got Frank when I'm trying to figure out if it's, like, a spirit, like, I'm joking in my head about this. Okay, not a big deal. It's probably because I've been, like, talking to a dude named Frank. And, you know, don't think about it. And the joke started because I'd be at one of the bakeries. And stuff was getting randomly thrown across. And things were getting knocked off the shelves. Stuff would go flying. And I'm just like, it's the ghost. It's the ghost. Which I had to do because I said it was the cat as a joke. And people thought I had a cat in the bakery and was got in trouble because I kept telling people we had a cat in the bakery. And I'm like, I did not mean we had a real cat. I meant it as it was a cat, you know? When somebody farts and goes, it was a duck. Like that, you know? I didn't really mean it as there was actually a cat cat in there. And I had to keep reminding people, like, no, we don't actually have a cat in here. That's against health code violations. It'd be cool we had a cat in here, but no, we don't have a cat in here. Nice! Yay! But I didn't get the money! But wait, I did it though. I didn't get the money. Did I get the money? Hold on. I got the money. Anyway, so yeah, stuff was going flying off the counter. My backpack out the register. My stuff would go missing. Like, not missing. My things would go flying. Things would get moved around, but I have terrible memory and ADHD, so that's kind of just comes with it. So I don't think too much about it. That more than likely was just my own brain being terrible. Anyway, so that's not a big deal. I'm not thinking too hard. That's how I got the name Frank, though, because I was like, what if there was a ghost here? What would the name be? And I got the name Frank, and I'm like, okay, that was weird. Okay, whatever. Don't think too hard on it. I'm just tired because I was working a lot. Anyway, so it was the next shift. I think might have been. I think the next shift was over at the one that I know for a fact. Oh, I now know was haunted. I now know it's haunted. I didn't at the time. I had no idea, no knowledge, and at most, the weirdest thing was you would hear the sound of somebody in the front. You hear pacing in the front. You might hear pacing in the back in the kitchen area, and there'd be nobody there. Or you'd hear just not even knocking. You just hear someone bing the bell. So I would go check the bell every time to see who was there. Make sure I never missed a customer. Because I had a boss who was very adamant you were never allowed to miss a customer. Because if you miss the camera, she was watching from the camera all the time. She was one of those bosses who sits at the camera and watches. And if she sees anything off, would call you and reprimand you. So high anxiety job. I did not like the job at all. And as somebody who at the time was way worse with my anxiety, like to the point I could barely socialize, the whole point of the job was to help me get more accustomed to working with people, because she used to also have anxiety. So a lot of the girls that she would hire were people that all had major issues with anxiety and social anxiety in general, also social anxiety. It was just to help us kind of like work it out and like get better with it so we can have jobs elsewhere. Like that was the whole point, because she had issues with it in the past too, you know. And so yeah. So Mr. Frank Sinatra, that would have been so awesome, dude. That would have been cool. But sorry, I'm trying to remember this stuff. Because when I think back to it, I'm actually back in that. I'm in the front. We had a whole I Love Lucy theme going on. Anyway, so I remember having to go back there all the time. There would be no one in the front. And at the time, it was around this time of the year, so near fall, so it's getting darker earlier on. So I remember the bell ringing and going to the front. It's dark. I'm alone, and this would have like, why is I hear the bell? Maybe it's me going crazy. But I stopped reacting to it as often. But I still try to be good with it, because then once I had a manager on site, I tried to be proactive with response to the bells, so that way I wouldn't get in trouble. And I did not want to get yelled at, so I was really scared. I never got yelled at, thankfully. But I was always very, 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 holy freaking very scared that I was going to get yelled at because of the anxiety. And everything was really strict. So, I remember some stuffs. Not a lot. I'm like multitasking here. One of the things I remember was the bells were going off, and I would go to the front, and there'd be nobody there. Manager's with me this day. And this would happen enough where she started noticing that the bell was going off, and there would be nobody in the front. Because normally you go up front, if it's not too long and they came back, you would ask, hey, was there anyone in front in case they need help getting anything, or getting more empanadas, making an order, getting the cupcakes ready. And so that was something that we would focus on. And they're like, no, no one's there. There's no one there. Like, okay, that's weird. It is what it is, though, but that's kind of weird. Okay, but it kept happening. So then she started checking, like, just no one in the front. Don't do it. Don't go in the front. Don't go in the front. Don't respond to the bell anymore. I'm like, but what if it's a customer? She's like, then they'll call to us. Wait till they start calling to us. Don't worry about them yelling. Just wait till they call to us. I'll handle it. If they yell, I'll take care of it. So okay, we had people who get salty with us, and we had our boss call us to complain, saying, hey, why aren't you guys reacting to the front? So she goes ahead and takes over and is like, hey, let me explain what's going on. And it says, hey, the bell keeps ringing and there's no one there. It keeps dinging. He's doing it again. And I have no idea what the fuck they're even talking about. I'm just like white noising because I'm thinking if I'm standing in the room with my manager, I'm eavesdropping, even though it's part of my job and I should know what's going on. I'm still in that headspace of if I'm here, I'm going to get in trouble. So I'm like not really paying attention too much. Eventually, we do kind of get that figured out. Just, okay, you guys are fine. You're doing the right thing. Is it still happening? Let me know. I'll come over there and handle it myself. Don't know what the hell any of this is about. I don't understand what's going on. I'm up to date. And I don't even find out about the ghost being there until sometime later, near Halloween. Near freaking Halloween. It's October in this part of the memory. And I'm joking with the girls. One of the girls said, hey, is there a ghost here? I've heard there's supposed to be like a ghost here. It's like that a thing? And the manager goes like, kind of like a freaked out. I was like, really confused, like we did something wrong. She said something wrong. We're talking about like Halloween and ghost stories and creepypasta because she's also into creepypastas. So the manager is like, who told you about a ghost? Why are you guys talking about ghosts? What do you know? And I'm like, wait, is there actually a ghost here? We're just talking about this. I'm not sure if she's like gonna just make fun of us or not, or what the deal is. She's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, there's a ghost here. There's a ghost here, you guys. And so the other girl asked her, like, oh, wait, what's the name of it? And I jokingly called it, Wilfred, as a joke. Because Wilfred became the substitute name for Frank. Because initially, I got Frank. But I changed it to Wilfred because I thought Frank was probably because of a guy I've been talking to. So I'm like, that's creepy. Your name is Ghost. Imaginary ghost cat after a guy you're talking to for like a day? It's weird. That's weird. So I changed it to Wilfred because who have I known named Wilfred? No one. So it's perfect. You know, perfect. I changed it to Wilfred. She looks at me weirdly. To continue on, ask it again. I say Wilfred like a dumbass again. I'm not realizing they're being dead serious with me. Yeah, that's when she says the ghost's name is Frank. And he's supposed to haunt the one bakery, but they had noticed him also interacting with the other bakery, which made no sense because he's supposed to haunt the one since his story was that we had to talk with the boss because the boss finally let us in on the history of the place because I had been warned during one of the baking events that if our boss were to tell us, like, start talking or yelling at someone to stop it, and there's no one near her, don't worry about it, ignore it, keep going on like normal, this is fine, this is what happens, it's normal. And that's all they would say. They weren't allowed to give us any more details. This was from like the past managers. There were like two other girls, I think, managers there. And once they left, the one that finally told us we had a ghost there she was working there, but she wasn't a manager yet. She didn't want to be one though, so she was really happy when she got promoted. But yeah, we talked with our boss. She explained that the previous owner's husband had passed away, not in there, so it was really weird. But he did used to own the bakery with his wife. He passed away at home, peaceful death and everything, just of old age, totally fine. And she's later on sold the building or whatever, and I don't know if she started renting it out or what the deal was, but because it's been a while. But now we have our boss there. We had the bakery there, and the reason why the ghost would be active was that it was normally active around when our boss was there, and for the longest time they didn't know why. It would always try to like touch her or like mess with the equipment, and if she kept ignoring him, he would get more aggressive and start knocking things over, throwing stuff. There had been a bin, like one of the mixing bowls of flour they were still putting the ingredients in, got bitch slapped across the room, and so she had to yell at him to knock it off, and he finally cooled it. So that's why apparently she would randomly do that, because it meant that he was messing with her and wouldn't leave her alone. And she was very busy. The job was really busy. We're constantly back to back loaded with cakes and recipes and things to get done. It was a constant thing. It was a very active job. For a bakery, we were back to back flooding. It was just too much. Too much. I think we took on too many jobs. Anyway, so apparently, when they were investigating to figure out what's all the paranormal activity and why it's going to be fixated around her, she was able to get a hold of the original owner because she was renting the place, talked to her about it, and that's when they found out the story about, the man who died, and that it was like a business that he ran with his wife before everything changed, of course, because of his passing, and she was too old to carry it on. So the wife is still alive. He doesn't know that yet, I guess. I don't know. So he was going after bugging her a lot because my boss looked pretty similar to his wife. So they took it as him mistaking her for his wife, and that's why she was things were acting like that. We don't know why we started having activity at the other shop. Because the other shop was in a different part of town, so it made no sense. But I don't know. I wasn't the only one. I didn't say anything for the longest time because I thought it would be crazy until one of the other girls I was working with noticed a man disappear into one of the bathrooms when we're supposed to be closed. And so we're closing. We're two young girls by ourselves. So I get the broom. She has her own. I don't know what she had. She had something in her hand. I can't remember what it was. It was probably like one of the mops. Ready to start beating a bitch if needed. And we go. The bathroom door is locked. Managed to get in there somehow. I think she was able to like pick it. Her key. I don't know what the deal was. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. I really don't remember every little detail. Just that we couldn't get into the bathroom at first. So I'm assuming it was locked. But she was able to get in there eventually. Maybe we had somebody come in. This is like years ago. This is over 7 years back. I think I was either 19 or 20 at the time. I think I was 19 actually. I think I was 19. So this was like maybe 8 years ago. So we got into the bathroom. There was no one in the bathroom. And then we would have things go flying in the kitchen also. So again, I used to blame it on the cat. The imaginary cat. Because people thought I was batshit crazy. I said, it was the cat that did it. And they're like, there's a cat in the bakery. I'm like, no. And no one expected a ghost. Because for some reason I thought a cat in the bakery would be a lot better. People did not like that. People did not like that. So I just stopped saying it was a cat. I didn't mean for it to be bad. I was like panicking. I don't even know how I got started with that exactly. Like where I had heard it from. But I heard it from somewhere. So I think that's really everything that was going on over there. Because there wasn't too much activity that happened in the bakery. Since I wasn't always working there. My boss was there. And most activity would be there. And the most activity I had to endure when I'm alone. Well, it'd be often when I was alone. And it's someone ringing the bell. So I think it slowed down after I had a history with like paranormal activity and I didn't want to deal with that shit. And I was really high anxiety with that stuff at the time. That my first reaction was going in there and having to go across the room was to threaten whatever was in the room with me to not pull anything because I was scared. And look, the reason why I was so scared was that in order to lock up at night, hear me out on this, we had to go from one end of the building to the other end of the building, lock the back door, turn off all the power to the entire building for the bakery, put you in complete absolute darkness, and then try to get through and like maneuver around the different tables and equipment. And there's a couple little rooms you have to like walk through in hallways, go through all of that without like crashing, and you're in the dark and you have maybe a flashlight. I needed my flashlight to get through, but I also need my phone battery so I can get home because I had to take the bus and I had to take the bus. I had a bike. I was leaving at night. Eventually, I did start using a car. I did. Eventually. It was a company car they'd let me use when we weren't doing like any trips or anything, or any like, they weren't going to events. So they didn't need the extra truck. So I got to use one of them to help kind of get around since I lived all the way on the opposite side of town. And it took me over about 2 hours to get to work every day. 2 hours one way, 2 hours back. So, point being, I had to walk through the dark with the flashlight, like, pretty much Phasmophobia setup, just hoping I don't get attacked by a ghost. That's all I'm thinking. I'm like, I read so many horror stories, and I'm like, I'm just scaring myself. Not taking this seriously, I'm just scaring myself. And I found out that, yeah, there was in fact a ghost, a male ghost, and I'm just like, oh, that's terrifying. So, the building's still there, but the cupcake shop has closed up. I don't know. I think they work differently now. It's being done different. I know that. Let me go ahead and wait. Hold on. No, I had it set to that, huh? Alright, it's a health code violation, Ghost, very much so. I mean, you heard the part about how I was throwing the flour and knocking stuff over onto the floor? You heard that part, right? I actually hate this one. I don't like it. Alright, so that was pretty much all I think I had about the bakery ghost. But I didn't really have too many horrifying things happen there. The ghost was pretty chill. He was just a dude who wanted to be with his wife, and that's kind of really it. He would fuck around sometimes. It was almost more like a dinging on the bell to get your attention and just not do anything. Or you hear him walking around, or maybe you would see a man in that room, and then when you would try to go in, he wasn't there anymore. But like, that was kind of it. He didn't really do anything, which I'm glad. I don't want them to be doing anything, because that's some freaky business, and I don't mind the paranormal, but I really don't normally go looking for the stuff. It tends to find me as it is, you know? So I don't see a point in having to go out and go searching. If it already comes to you naturally, then I think if anything, you might want to focus more on yourself and keeping your own health and mental health in check, because whether it could be an actual paranormal activity or it can be mental health stuff. There's like a lot of reasons that can go in between, you know? So, just in case, I try not to usually go looking, but I tend to find it regardless. Alright. I'm not sure is anyone able to still hear me? I know there's an ad right now.
Alright, we're here. Take a look at the equipment and prepare accordingly before starting the investigation.
I just want to know if I need to like wait for anyone, because
Reports of violence or sightings, but please remain careful.
Alright. Are you guys still stuck? Are you guys still stuck in an ad break, or has that passed? I think I'm gonna take an opportunity to go quickly run to the restroom really fast, you guys. If that's cool, because I kind of need to. Let's see here. So we're gonna do a quick 5-minute break, because I gotta go ahead and use the restroom. This is a good opportunity for anyone else who needs to go ahead and use the bathroom, get water, get a snack, hug your girlfriend, hug your cat, whatever you gotta do. What goes story next? Oh, that's all caps. Let me see. Hold on, let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and like put it on for the poll while I did this. The childhood house. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put up a poll, you guys. We want to go ahead and like vote, if at all, like which one we want to go through next. And in the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and just go quickly run to the restroom. Okay? Give me just one moment. wasn't even the full 5 minutes. Nice. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to crack my back a little bit. Okay, the story of my sister's home. Yeah? Really? No more trees, honey. No more trees. Alright, I got the tales of my sister's home. Because that was the one where it had 7 other people. 7 other witnesses, not including me. Let me make that clear. There were 7 other people that could vouch for this story. Oh, he's a baby. I feel like at this rate, my cat could possibly be considered an option because of the stuff he's seen and had to encounter there. He did stay over there a few times. And I know he saw what I saw. Because he reacted. He got in defensive and immediately went in front of me and started getting protective. That's when I knew, like, okay, I'm not imagining. I'm definitely not imagining this because I thought maybe I was just tired and my mind was in that active space. So I've been there before and during that stuff. Because sometimes your mind will create things. It will create what it expects to be there. So it can be helpful to have other outside sources like validate or unverify or whatever, you know, just to check it. So Abel was one source, I feel like, outside the list. You are. You're a little offensive, baby boy. Sorry, he just wants cuddles. Anyway, okay, so next story. There was a lot. I'm going to just say this. There was a lot that happened at my sister's place in a short period of time, and then until I was there, a lot of stuff happened. And the time since I've left there, a lot of stuff happened. It started calming down now, which I'm glad about because, oh my god, it got difficult for everyone there because of all the crazy shit going on. Not just things running around. Now you see disappearing women. You see a ghost woman that stares at you, throws your shit around the room and glares at you. You have someone who's crawling around the floor, clawing at the person, leering at you from above, watches you in the bathroom like a weirdo. I can't keep making my jokes. Because eventually your friend is genuinely scared and you're like, got it. Got it. Okay, can't make jokes right now. Not the time. Now is not the time for tomfoolery. Okay. Sorry. Get my headspace there. Okay, let's see. So, basically how it started was I didn't know anything was there. When they bought the house, none of us knew there's anything haunted there. According to the original owners, we got to meet them during the house touring because what you do is you have to go and check out the house at the time. And the residents were still living there. They're the ones who own the homes. They would show you what the house looked like. They let you know, hey, we're working to get out by this point. And in the meantime, though, take a look at the house. Here's what we have. Here's what we're offering. If you want, you can go ahead and if you're willing to, if you get the house, if you're willing to pay like extra money or whatever, we'll be willing to sell you this item, you know? Because they had TVs mounted to the wall, or if you did get the house, I think at the very end they did keep the TVs. So they asked, like, hey, do you want the TVs or not? Because they didn't really need the TVs. And then my sister didn't need the TVs, but when it came time for it, the couple was like, you know what? We also don't need the TVs, so we're just going to leave them here. Use them, don't use them. You get free TVs. So that happened. Anyway, they had free TVs, which is kind of helpful because of that room. My niece ended up watching from that a lot. I watched Devil's a Part-Timer from there quite often. I was kind of embarrassed having her see what I was watching, but that's a whole other story. That's another tale. Not really important right now. Anyway, I used to hang out down there a lot, though. In, like, the playroom area. And I never noticed anything. Like, I never did. While I was living there, I wasn't noticing for the longest time. When I would visit, we wouldn't notice anything. I couldn't sense anything. My mom couldn't sense anything. My brother didn't feel anything. The house isn't like a totally normal house. And when it was brought up, the owners were like, no, this house is pretty normal. We don't have any ghost activity. No one died here. It's a new house. Because the whole area was fairly new itself. They've been working on building homes in this area. Like, it used to be a pretty empty space. So anyway, they're working on it, right? Which, you know, that's cute. That's cute. Nice house. Gorgeous backyard. Good setup. Still love the place. It's really a pretty house. It is. So, one thing we noticed is that after they had started living there, eventually we noticed something would get thrown around a lot. Like the bottles, and there was a sign. It initially started with a sign for the trash bin, in which this it just says trash can, since the trash bin is like hidden away in one of those pull-out drawers, and a lot of people got confused. They added that sign there, and it would come off the. It was being held by some kind of like Velcro, and it would come off it a lot. One second, Abel, stop. It would come off the Velcro and bounce across the floor. They had tiled floors, so it got some good distance. If you have tile floors, you know that if you drop it, it'll have a good distance. You know, the bouncing. So it became a bit of a game to see how far it bounced, and that's what I'm talking about. The whole, we got super excited to count how many bounces it had, and got a tape measure out to see how far it went, because it would get further and further. And it was impressive. It was a pastime, and we would notice, oh, it's hanging by a thread, it's hanging by a thread, and just kind of have fun. Because if it happens enough, you gotta goof around, you know? Like, come on. Eventually, they did have to start taking it off because it fell non-stop. No matter how hard we firmly pressed it against the door, it would still pop off and it would bounce and make the loudest noise and it'd scare everyone. So, give me a loud clank. I mean, come on. It's hardwood bouncing on tile. Hold on. Abel. Hey. Stop it. Apologies. Chaotic cat. Destructive cat. Okay. Hi, hun. I'm your business. So where was I? Hold on, where was I? So they went ahead and changed the Velcro because we all assumed it was just the Velcro was kind of cheap. Maybe it's getting old, it wasn't properly put on, it was coming off too much. And over time, Velcro won't really last that well. Maybe it was too heavy for it. So they replace it. They take it out, they add new one. They get the extra strong ones because we don't want to deal with this anymore. It was fun and funny, but then it got really annoying and it just... They wanted the sign on, but it would come off during the parties too, and I don't know. It was frustrating eventually for them. I stopped caring. As long as it didn't fall off in the middle of the night when I was sleeping there, you know? Because then it would make a loud clang and it would just scare the hell out of me. It's like, oh, don't do that. It's scary. It was like a loud noise. Middle of the night. Imagine you're drifting off to sleep and then suddenly you hear the sound of glass breaking. That's kind of what it was like. Really abrupt. Anywho. Freaking cars. Hold on. Don't make a joke. Don't make a joke. Don't make a joke. I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I'm a mature adult. I'm a mature adult. I don't make those immature jokes. But I want to. Oh, look at that. Me getting distracted easily again. I feel like it's coming from downstairs. Oh, it might be a phantom. Okay. Sorry, let me remember, where was I? So, yeah, they took off the sign because it would bounce a lot. So, the sign's gone. It can no longer fall off, right? Jokes are jokes. They are. They are. So, the sign is no longer on the trash bin. We had to take it off because they don't want to deal with that anymore. They're going to try to replace it because they don't want to keep falling. It's getting annoying. The loud clanging was just starting to bother them. They want the sign to go missing either. So they just kept it off. Yeah, the game didn't stop. It was a pause for a while, so we didn't think much of it. But then it started up again with new items. Now the cups were flying. Now we had trash bags falling off the counter. If you had dishes, it would go flying across the room. The remote control would go flying off stuff. And because everyone kind of kept it near the edge or close enough that we just rationalized it with, oh, it's fine. We probably put it too close to the edge. Or we make fun of, like, if a remote went flying off it, we'd be like, ha, put it too close to the edge. Or if the cup would go flying, we would joke about someone like, oh, you knocked it over, you lost your drink. You know, just be kind of not taking it seriously. We weren't taking it seriously because, come on, why would we? There was no reason for us to even think of it being an actual serious situation going on, or that thing was actually happening. Where are you? Hee. Anyway, it kept going on like that. Eventually, they did put the sign back up. Now, here's my memory. Abel! Oh, hold on, let me get out of this. My cat's going berserk again. Honey, stop destroying that. I came to dinner. You have food in your bowl, bud. Stop being a stop it. You have food in here. Finish your bowl, hon. Fireplace been demanding a lot more food lately. I don't know what's up, but that's just him. Okay. So this is when memory starts getting a little bit fuzzier because things are now out of order. I'm now more confused about what's going on because it's been a while and there was a lot going on at the time. There's a lot of stress. I was barely sleeping, so I put a lot of these things into consideration, and thus why for the longest period of time while living there, I wasn't even mentioning to anyone that I was seeing all this weird stuff. Because once things got weird, I didn't really think it was anything serious. I thought I was just tired, or I thought I was going crazy. Maybe I'm working through something. Who knows? I'm exhausted. I was a full-time student, a part-time worker, eventually becoming a full-time worker, you know? There was a lot. So when it comes to these things, you have to be rational about this. You know, don't just jump into the deep end. Because it's fun to say, oh, it's a ghost. But you can't always jump into that stuff, you know? So, my point being, I put a lot of thought and consideration into what was going on, rather than jumping to conclusions. Well, one of my housemate and later best friend, she started seeing stuff too. And we were hanging out. She knows some stuff. She talked about it like, oh, I don't know, that thing keeps like flying off this counter, but it's like all the way at the edge. That's so weird, right? Like it's away from the edge. It's toward the wall. So we got annoyed with it. Don't think twice about it. Just whatever. It is what it is. We don't think there's a ghost yet. We don't think there's a ghost yet. I'm trying to remember the order of this, because I don't remember what point of the story this occurs in. But I think we started... No. Wilbur? No. Wait, what was this part? I think it's later in the story, but I don't remember where, so I can slide it in, because it's not like anything important, you know? Being real, it's not anything too important. But there was a point in which I remember being in the living room with her, because there was two couches on opposite sides. It's like a living room attached to the kitchen, and then there's like a playroom, which is also like another room in the front. So we're in the living room part of it. We're on opposite couches, just laying across and watching TV. I put my earbuds in because her show is boring the hell out of me. I think she's watching the Kardashians, and I can't do that. But she likes it. So she's watching it. I put my earbuds in, and at some point while I'm there, we're hanging out, and she kind of like get my attention. So she checks me. She's like, "Hey, can you look over here real fast?" I'm like, "Sure." I look over. I'm like, "What's up?" She's like, "Did you hear that?" I'm like, "Hear what?" Because something had fallen over. And I'm like, "Oh, that's weird." She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You think it was a ghost?" She's like, "Yeah, it was a ghost." I'm like, "Oh." It's like, "Okay. Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I just heard it. It just fell over just a moment ago." I'm like, "Okay. Well, that's weird." Well, hey, at least it isn't like telling us to get out or anything, you know? That'd be creepy. She's like, "Oh, it did. It did." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "It just told me to get out." Like, I'm like, "No, you're joking." She's gotta be joking, right? Because we have never heard the ghost speak at this point. We had not heard the ghost speak at this point. No, multiple times, apparently, while living there, it would yell at her to get out of the house. It would straight up yell at her to get out of the house. It would knock shit over. And I'm just like, wait, did it just Easter bunny you where it knocks shit over and then tells you to go F yourself? Because that's kind of funny. That's just kind of funny to imagine. Like, oh, wow. Okay. The ghost is not like you. We've zeroed that in. I never had an issue with it, but now we know the ghost doesn't like her. So, there's that memory. I don't know where that fits in with the story, but at some point this happens. Gotta hear Abel's side of the story. We do. You'd probably be like, and then there was that weird lady who just kept staring and staring. I don't know what her intent was, but I didn't like it, because what the fuck? Why is she watching my person sleep? That's creepy. Like, that's my job. Yeah, no, there were two ghosts in that house. Sorry, I'm still having a hard time talking. I'm working with it, but it's like difficult for me. Okay, where were we with this? Where were we? So, okay, so again, that ghost, that was Wilfred. We don't know what he is. He's like a shadowy figure, still out of a man, and that is it. That's all we know about him. We don't know anything else. Again, no one's even died on the perimeter, so it makes no sense. Where are you? Where are you?
Oh, I'm far from here.
Oh, you're far from here? No.
We have death.
Oh, you got death in you? That's giggity, I guess. Let's see here. Spirit box. Oh! I'm not gonna shame you, man. That's your deal. Well, it's just got death in her. Like, okay. Congrats? What do you say to someone's grandma? Who tells you that? What do you say? Bon voyage? Do I say that to you? I'm here with death, so like... Social media... The internet has taught me that touch death, that's just that you just drop dead. I don't know, man. I played The Sims. I never once got a good death from old age. I always get the one where I get electrocuted. Or just spontaneously drops dead. I don't know what that deal is. Anyway, I got bad luck with that. So back to the story. Get some water real fast. I never dropped it off. Okay, where were we? Okay, so that's Wilfred. So at some point we started noticing that some things were being thrown around the room, and the games began again, and it got out of control. We were started at this. I think this is actually the point where we got the tape measure out to see him from the bounce, and we didn't know what was going on because we were like counting the bounces before and seeing how long it was, making points marks like in the rooms. We knew where things were and how far it would go, and that's kind of all we really had. I think this is where we got the tape measure involved, because it started up again, and we wanted to actually know how far it was bouncing this time. Now we were like, oh, this is like a mission. We gotta figure out how far this is gonna go. Because it was so freaking weird. Like, why is it bouncing? Why is it spontaneously coming off this thing? So, sorry, remember, it fell off a lot. Went AWOL. Since someone go missing, because I think went at the couch. We just couldn't find it for a while. Anyway, cups are being thrown. We started seeing a black shadow walking around the house. Again, I'm tired. I'm a full-time student, part-time worker, and at this point in the store, I'm only part-time. I'm still working at the cupcake shop. So I'm thinking, I'm just too tired. I'm not gonna say, oh, I saw a shadow figure. No, I'm tired. I'm thinking I'm delusional. I'm delirious, okay? I'm going crazy. I'm going bonkers. Because that happens when you get too tired. You'll start seeing things. It's stress. Stress will make you start seeing spots even, like a lot of stuff. It's all health stuff. That's why I keep saying, always make sure you try to look at the rationale first, because it could be a health thing. So, I'm justifying it with, I'm just tired, you know? Until my friend sees a shadow leave the room. I left the kitchen, and she's making food. Okay. She then saw a shadow fall behind me, and she's like, wait, I thought you just left. So she goes over to look at me. I'm in the bathroom taking a pee break. I remember this because I had to go to the bathroom, and I come out, and she was like, were you just in here? And I'm like, girl, I was liquidating the assets. What are you talking about? No, I'm not in there. You just saw me leave the bathroom. So she was certain she had just seen me leave the room again. Okay. This carries on, and she starts seeing a dark silhouette in her own bedroom. I start seeing a dark silhouette in the living room when I'm going to bed. And again, it's dark, so I'm thinking, oh, okay, probably my eyes adjusting to the darkness and like making figures. Yeah. She came out one of the nights in a panic because she saw a black silhouette leering over her, and it scared the fuck out of her. She was terrified, so she comes flying out of her room and wakes me up. I cannot sleep for the life of me, so I'm just still awake, like, yo, what's up, girl? How you doing? Yeah. I'm trying to remember the order of this stuff, because this story I've told it a lot, but I keep going all over the place. I'm trying to give you guys like a straightforward timeline. Just a little bit difficult. The camera real fast. Hold on. Ah! Oh wait, I can turn this! Never mind, with the floor! Okay, I gotta go back in there then. Let's see, so... She saw the silhouette. This would happen a few more times, and we were talking about it, 'cause I'm like, that's so weird. I think she started suspecting, she's the first one to start suspecting maybe the shadow was that. Like, the shadow that she saw watching her sleep was also the whatever it was knocking things off in the kitchen. Because this is what she's assuming. She's not even too sure. She just knows she saw a silhouette watching her. She's fairly confident she's awake. She's distressed. So, we talk about it, move on. I love this game. Oh, hey, David Steve, how are you? I was playing this game by myself. I won. Oh, congrats. Good job. This is kind of difficult to do. Especially on insanity. It's a pain in the booty. Can be fun though, especially if you're trying to rob the house. Do your things for asking. Oh, glad to hear you're doing good. Sorry, before I lose my train of thought, what was going on with it? Sorry, I get easily distracted. I'm trying to remember where... Hold on. Okay, so we don't have any confirmation yet that it is in fact a ghost. We don't have any confirmation yet at this point. We are on our own assumptions, but like that's kind of all we really have going. So we're not taking it too seriously that it's 5. I don't have black light in here, do I? Shoot. Oh, good golly. Okay, that's his appearance. Win-win, no matter what. I actually don't know that song. Sorry. Okay, but seriously though, what part were we at? Trying to remember this. Hold on. So, I'm outside, right? Yeah, I am. Okay, so... Let's see. She's acting the silhouette. Oh! Yeah, we didn't... I think... Right! Okay, I don't know where this fits in with this timeline. No, okay, this actually will happen later. I'll put it in later. I know where it goes now. I had a dream where I was like, okay, that's a dream. I was dreaming and I woke up. I fell asleep on the couch. Everyone's in the kitchen, so when I wake up, the lights of the kitchen are still on. I'm thinking probably still people in there. Usually people are still in there when I think there's no one there. The lights are on. It's always on when people are there, and it's off when no one's in there. They're very big about saving, power and energy and all that stuff. So bar lights are on though, and they're like flickering in and out between like bright blue white light to just no light, and then bright again, and then nothing, and then bright, and then nothing. Okay, cool. So that's what's going on with the lights. The lights are having fun over there. I wake up and I see a woman watching me. Like, it's a taller than me. Probably like an average height woman, but like to me tall because I'm short. They're taller than me. I know that. With long dark hair, pale skin, and a white dress. And I'm not paying too much attention to her outfit. I just think she's like related to somebody in the house or a friend of someone in the house. Like, I don't know. I thought it was my brother-in-law's like friend coming over because they have people randomly pop up sometimes. So I wake up, she's staring at me. That's weird. I don't think too much about it though. All I'm thinking about the ghost is like, I don't even know it's a ghost. I'm just thinking, oh, it's probably one of his friends. It's just a friend of his. They're probably just staring into the void, and on that awkward moment where like, you stare into the void and now it's like you're staring at somebody, but you're not actually staring at them. You're kind of like disconnected for a moment just in your head, and then boom. Now someone thinks you're a creep. You're like, oh, why are you staring at me? I'm like, I'm not staring at you. I'm doing my own business here. Oh, hold on. Hey, did I, just checking. Did anybody miss that part? To go quiet, y'all get to hear. I just thought there might have been an ad. Basically a brief rundown for anyone who missed it without going too heavily into detail. Sorry, my brain's all over right now. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm sleeping on the couch because I was too tired, so I went to bed on the couch. I went knocked out. I was tired. A long day at work. I'm tired. There's a bar. The lights are on the kitchen. I think that means someone's in there, so I don't think I really care to turn it off. I'm like, oh, people are probably still in there hanging out. And there's bar lights on the bar area that are like flickering on and off, like bright light fades out, fades back into bright light, fades back out. Like it does that. That's it. Nothing crazy. And I see a woman in a pale woman with long dark hair, taller than me, and a white dress. I think, okay, they have people randomly pop in, so it's probably friends with one of them. Maybe they're friends with my sister, probably my brother-in-law. I kept thinking my brother-in-law. And she's staring at me, so I'm like, it's like, that's weird. Why would they be staring at you if they're their friend? Well, I'm thinking, okay, probably one of those awkward moments where you zone out and you don't realize you're staring at someone until they give you that weird look and get mad because they think, oh, you're being a creep. Why are you staring at me? Even though you're just literally zoned out. So I'm thinking that's what's going on, They're just zoning out. And I go back to bed. I'm like, okay, I don't really care. I fall back asleep immediately. And I have a really weird dream. Nothing crazy or paranormal, anything. Just a normal dream. Just kind of a all over dream. So not a big deal. And I realized, oh, this is a really elaborate dream. Maybe that was dream residue. Whenever I saw in the real world was actually not a real person. Maybe from the dream. Because when I woke up, I noticed she was fading in and out. In and out. In and out. Like she... Oh. So yeah, so she's fading in and out of reality. Ghost writing. Yeah, it could be everything still. Dread. I can throw that one out. Okay, awesome. So yeah, she fades in and out a lot. That makes me think she's part of the dream. At one point, though, I try to approach her. If I wake up, I notice she's fading in and out. That's how she didn't realize it. So I approach her and go, oh, okay. Why are you watching me? Why are you staring at me? Because it's... I'm sorry. I'm going to go back through the order. I'm sorry. I'm going to make sure I give you guys, like, the actual, like, proper storyline with this. I had noticed that when I woke up and she was staring at me still. No one in my dream knew what I was talking about when I asked them about her, thinking, okay, maybe she's part of my dream and not actually real. No one in the... Okay, let's get out of here. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so I asked her why she was staring at me, because if she's part of the dream, she's probably actually a real person. Okay, I asked her, why are you staring at me? Because that's creepy. She doesn't respond. I sit up to try to talk to her, but I'm super tired, so I go, whatever, I'm too tired to deal with this business, I don't care. And I go back to bed. Because I think she's just someone, like, she's probably somebody's friend in the house, and I just go back to bed. Because the front door's locked, you know? Yeah, it isn't until I look over at her and I realize she's fading in and out that that's not... They're not... I don't know what they are. They're not a human and they're not living or whatever the heck. I don't know what's going on. Just as this woman who's been staring at me for a while, still there, and she's fading in and out with the light. When the light gets bright, she fades out. When it goes dark, I can see her and she's full of static, it looks like. Which I've now come to know is like that's a ghost thing, weirdly enough. It's really weird, I don't get it, but you know, it is what it is. So, I'm weirded out by this. I don't know what's going on. I forget how the order goes, where I think I go back in the dream, ask about her, and I don't get a response. No one knows what the fuck I'm talking about. That's not part of the storyline I'm dreaming about. And that's when eventually I do wake up. I decide to stay up. I'm like, that's such a weird thing. I'm still tired, but I don't want to go back to bed, because that was weird. I started thinking about this, and eventually I'm too uncomfortable and unsettled by this. And I go into the living room, the living room by the kitchen, because like the front door. So you have a front door, and then you have like the playroom where the couch was that I was sleeping on. I was tired as hell. And then you have the stairs, and then next to the stairs is like a hall, like a little hall area that transitions into where there's a kitchen on one side, and the living room on the other side. That's where the TV is, and that's where the whole ghost yelled at my friend to get out of the house. I mean, and then there's the kitchen's where all of the stuff was being thrown often. You know, besides the controller. Anyway, so I go in there and I sit on the couch in there because if I had to sleep, I'm not sleeping back in that room. I had the weirdest dream of a woman watching me, just leering over me, standing over, watching me. It is creepy. I'm unsettled, so I'm changing my space and trying to think over and convince myself it's just a dream. It's not that big of a deal. That was just a really weird dream. It's dream residue you were seeing when you woke up. That's part of what happens. Like, but no one in the dream knew what I was talking about. Like, that's okay. It doesn't have to make sense. So I try to ignore it, but it doesn't go away. It weirds me out. Eventually, my brother, who was living there at the time, he was renting one of the rooms until he could find like a new place in a new city because he wanted to like keep traveling out of he wanted to leave California. He does not like LA. Totally fair. I like it, but not everyone else does. I think I'm missing. No, I'm not. Okay, cool. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to get the chat back up. That's so weird that it keeps doing that. Well, it's just computer stuff. Well, he came down and we talked about it. He asked me what was wrong, like what was I worried about, why am I awake, he's surprised, and we're just kind of talking. He comes in and out of the room a few times, asking more questions, and eventually he's like, did you have a bad dream or something? And I'm like, just a nightmare, you know, and I can't leave. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to go talk about this. I'm trying to forget about it, but I can't get over it. So he does leave, and I don't know how long he was gone from the room, but he eventually comes back into the room and asks me, hey, what was that dream about? And I'm like, it's just weird stuff. I was just creepy. Nothing too scary. And he asked me to like elaborate. So I tell him, I had a dream about a woman that was watching over me. Like I woke up, first a normal dream, but then I woke up and there's a woman watching me. I thought it was our brother. I thought it was brother-in-law's friend, but she started fading in and out with the light, and I realized she wasn't real. But she kept staring at me, and every time I'd fall back asleep and wake up, she'd be watching me again. And he's like, that's so trippy. Leaves again. I'm like, well, okay. That's so freaking weird. Okay, weirdo. Comes back in. I'm not joking. He did completely leaving and coming back in for more questions and then leaving and coming back in. And I'm like, this is weird. Even looking back, it's still weird. But you know what? I think he was just processing and trying to decide whether or not to talk about what's going on. Because he then asked me to describe what she looked like. And as I'm describing her, he immediately starts describing what her age might be, her face shape, you know, what did I see, how did she seem, like, and I didn't have to go into all these details before he started immediately figuring out, pointing out, like, her hair is like up to here, like, no bangs, right, like, it's up to here, about, like, look like she might be in her 30s, her dress looks like this, right, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I've been seeing, and that's what I was seeing a moment ago. Turns out he had been seeing her too. A lot in that house. But because no one else was talking about it, and I hadn't said anything about it, he didn't want to bring it up to scare people, and he didn't want to seem crazy because he'd be the only one saying, hey, I just saw a ghost, you know? Or I'm seeing this random ass woman appearing in places. So, I think that's a pretty reasonable concern to have. No one wants to be something else like a nut job. So we talk about it. He had been seeing her a bunch of... He's like, where'd you see her? I'm like, in the playroom. I was taking a nap. That's where I saw her. And he's like, I've been seeing her when I go upstairs. I'll see her if I go upstairs and look up. I don't look up anymore. And I noticed he hadn't been doing that. I'm like, okay, probably because it's creepy. Everyone gets that weird feeling from the banister when you look up, you know? You expect something there. He would sometimes see her hanging over the edge like this, arms crossed over the banister, looking down at him. And when we go upstairs, she'd vanish. Because when you go upstairs, you go upstairs one way, and you have to turn around and then go up the other way, and so by that point she'd be gone. And he would see her often, or he'd try to leave the room, and he'll leave his bedroom, walk into the hall, there's a banister inside, there she is, just hanging over the edge, just looking at things. And when he got close enough, she'd vanish. So he was already seeing her for a while. I had never seen her, but ever since that day, she became a lot more active. And I didn't want to say anything to my friend because I didn't want to scare her, because she doesn't like ghosts. She's scared of ghosts. She's scared of everything paranormal and tries to stay out of it. She does not like that stuff. So, you know, respecting my friend, I wasn't going to drag her into this. If she's not seeing anything, cool. She's been seeing something else. We don't think it's going to be the same thing, so, you know what? I'll work with it. We're going to have to work with what we got here, you know? Hold on, gotta get 2 more photos. I still gotta play the game. Ah, 3 more photos. Crap. Hold on. We have... Oh, we don't have any salts.
Elderly.
Wait, didn't I get that one already? I feel like I did. Oh, no. I think I know what happened. Okay. Oh, right. We also had... I think we had EMF 5, didn't we? Unless I'm mixing it up with something else. I'm pretty sure we had EMF 5. Okay. Let's go ahead and do the candlelight then. Try to remember the pattern for the order for the story. Because she didn't want to know about the stuff, so I didn't tell her anything until she had her own experiences. I think... I don't remember what it is. I'm trying to remember when. At some point, she becomes aware of her. And I nicknamed her Samantha because I was doing a lot of work involving data entry, and I kept getting so many Samanthas. So I think I just got the name Samantha. Your name is Samantha now. I don't know her actual name. All I know is Samantha. Where were we? Right. So we have so now I call her Samantha. And I fucked this challenge up. Damn it. Start calling her Samantha. Somehow my friend finds out about it. I think it's because she got attacked. She ended up getting attacked in her bedroom by someone. A woman in a long dress. But it wasn't a white dress. It was a black dress. So, and a black veil. And this will become a reoccurring villain for her? I don't know how to say. Look, she moves out of the house and she still ends up being like followed by this woman in a black dress and a black veil. And this, I don't know what's going on there. But she's dealing with that. So, we don't know what's going on there. She doesn't know. No one in the family knows what the hell that's about, but... I don't know. A score next lover? Who knows? I don't. I think that's how it led us to thinking, oh, maybe that was who she was thinking about. I told her the story, and... somehow, she becomes aware of Samantha, and... because of all the weird stuff we've been seeing... I think she kept seeing a woman in her room. And so that's how it led to her eventually coming up with the story. We talked with the story. I got her involved with my brother. So we started sharing our own stories about what's going on to try to piece together if this is actually real. Why is this happening? When did this start happening? What is going on? Why is this even a thing? Because there was never a ghost before. So what is happening here? I have an idea of what happened. On why we even had a ghost there in the first place. And that's because of one of the housemates who did something. She came in. She had a lot of problems. She mentioned about something following her, and she used to talk about how something paranormal was attached to her. But she was always being told to stop talking about that because that's going to scare people off. And no one's going to want to rent to her if she keeps talking about that. Because no one wants to deal with a ghost being brought in their space. And I didn't really think much of it other than being told, like, oh, she's just crazy. She just thinks it's because of she's a little bit stressed out because of what's going on with her ex and all this stuff. And you know what? She thinks this because she swears that she sees these things. Just don't talk to her about it. Don't encourage it. We're trying to help her. Don't encourage it, though. So I stopped thinking about it. I don't talk about it. It's none of my business. I forget about it entirely, you know? But she's there for like a month and then tries to leave. And when she tries to leave, she pulls out her they're like, hey, my rental application said I only had to be here for a month, and then I'm like free to go if I want to leave, so I'm leaving. And they never had to do them before. None of the copies. They had never done this. It's always been a 6-month and then 6-month lease and then month to month. It's always been that way. Never been 1 month and that's it, and then you can go month to month. No, it's always been 6 months and then 1 month. So my sister looks for the actual original documentation for this, and the lease is missing. The lease is missing. They don't want to deal with her craziness anymore. There's a lot of stuff going on. And it put everyone in the household in danger. So they let her, you know what, go ahead, you leave, that's it. And that's when all the paranormal activity started happening in that house. And I'm talking about like having the ghost girl like randomly attacking people, throwing stuff. The other ghost started throwing stuff. He might have always been there. I don't know. I think he's like a spirit of the house or whatever. I don't really know, you guys. I really don't know. What I do know, though, is that Samantha was never there until this lady was. And then she did a lot of weird stuff and pretty much just scraped her off like a gum on her shoe. And that's how we got a ghost in that house. Hold on, I can handle this. Where's my candle? Didn't I put a candle in? You threw it? Where'd you throw it? You guys, I put a candle down here, right? Because I don't find the candle. Candle? Candle. Okay, that's weird. Okay. We're there for right now. Let's go find the candle again. Do something with it. Okay, so she pretty much bring up the summary. She now knows about the ghost. My brother knows about the ghost and had his own stories and knew everything about the ghost. And we were talking about this. We weren't going to tell anyone else about this and we could figure out what was actually happening because we really didn't know what was going on. We just knew what we experienced. So the stories involving the ghost get kind of nuts. So Samantha keeps going into my friend's room and waking her up with night terrors and trying to attack her, and it got really aggressive and it was like being a kind of pain in the butt. So I tried to help the best way I could, and that meant looking like a mad woman. That meant I'm looking like a mad woman if you don't believe in ghosts. See? Even the ghost here is like a crazy old lady. Oh snap. I think we should get out of this house right now because there's no room for more photo opportunities anyway. Okay, we have all the photos. We have a bone in the cursed object. We know it's going to be a spirit because we got EMF 5 unless I'm just getting it confused, but good enough, let's go. We would see Samantha more, but pretty much the story is involving Samantha. I started getting involved and being the crazy lady trying to talk to the ghost and be like, leave her alone. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because. And she's like, why? And I'm like, I have a niece. I am trained for answering the questions of a toddler. I can do this all day. Because. Like, the craziness died down for a while, okay? It did. It died down for a while. And then it just became a thing where we'd still see her around. She'd stare at us from the banister.
Welcome back. I've got some jobs ready for you.
She stared at us from the banister. She used to try to, like, throw things. If you sat on the couch, she started shaking the couch. When I was still living there, I would take naps on the couch, and if I also had a blanket over me, I'm, like, trying to knock out. I don't want to pull out the full thing. It was a futon. I don't want to pull the full thing. I'm sleeping on there. She would come over and start randomly flicking the blanket. I would see a silhouette and then flicking. And I'm like, stop flicking the thing! It went from being scary to being straight up annoying, because it's like having that sibling who won't leave you alone, you know? And it's also kind of awkward when you see a silhouette leering over you, flicking, and you see like the blanket like move because they're flicking it, and you feel them, and you hear it, and you get to take the blanket off and go, what the fuck are you doing to air? You feel like an absolute crazy person by that point, you know? You do. But honestly, the bullshit was driving me crazy, so there's that. No one saw that, okay? No one saw what was going on with that part, so that was my own personal craziness there, and it was annoying. It was. It really, really was. Okay, so at this point, aside from me, we only have 2 other people aware of what's going on and having their own actual experiences. You know, separate from me, with their own stuff they experience without me even knowing until they told me about it. Wilfred would continue to be there. We eventually found out my niece was talking to him, and someone went into the garage and saw her in the corner of the room talking to someone like, yeah, I know, I like that too. Right? It's so cool. And we're like, oh, fuck no. So my friend runs up, goes in there, grabs her, pulls her, nope, we're not doing this today. This is how, like, freaking horror movies start. And a toddler talking to something in the corner. And so I'm like, who were you talking to? She's like, doesn't even say anything. She's just like refusing to answer and giving me like the eyes around the room, like, I'm not gonna say nothing. So like, who are you talking to? And we tried for years to tell you who she was talking to, but she never would. That's okay. Like, she's safe. That's kind of the biggie, you know? So she was good. Like, nothing ever happened to her, but I didn't want her getting involved with that stuff. I've had enough of my own our family's crazy enough, you know? Like, let this one grow up normal. Let her grow up sane. That's like the rule in the family. Make sure she grows up to be, like, have the chance to be normal and, like, not the craziness. You know? So, she's good. She was happy. Oh, hey, Norn. Yeah, I'm still alive. Just telling ghost stories from my experience working in haunted places to living in haunted places. How you doing? I'm gonna go ahead and just close this little thing real fast. Let me see, where was I? Vibing. Nice. Usually distract us, I get confused. Hold on. Okay, so, yeah, so the part where, yeah, right, so someone caught my niece talking to the ghost in the corner of the room, and we're like, nope, picks her up, and runs out of there. With her, like, not doing this horror movie business. And I'm so glad someone did that, because it's like, we are on the same objective. Do not let the kid talk to the ghost in the corner. Again, he comes off as like a black silhouette, you know, we don't see any features. So she's just pretty much talking to an invisible man or a shadow man in the corner of the room, and it's like, no. I think this might have been I don't know, this was kind of the nuttiest things for me, because I went in there knowing I had seen him a lot. We had seen him a lot in there over time. I mean, that room had a really weird feeling to it. Like, not a bad feeling, but not feeling. Considering she had just been seen in there, I ran in there and was like, you do not talk to this one. Let her grow up normal. Look at God, please. Look at me. Do not let her turn into me, you know? And, yeah. I got defensive. I got concerned. I don't want her going into that route. I probably looked even weirder. I already know I look like a nutcase right now on Twitch, but you know what? This is my life. So, like, yeah. Oh, thanks for the bits, Bun. I gotta stretch my back in here. So let's see. So she started doing that. We started seeing Wilfred around more. I remember I saw him while I was playing on my Switch. I was playing. What was that game? Oh my god, hold on. Undertale. I was playing Undertale, and I was in. I forget. Asgore. I think it's Asgore. I was in a fight with him. And I don't know how many times I'd gone through the fight trying to beat him. When I see him, like, I see a black silhouette leer out from behind one of the walls and look at me from the hallway. And he's just staring at me. So I go to look over at him because I'm used to him, and I see him, like, shuffle backwards. So I'm like, yeah, of course you would. I'm used to him at that point. Like, I like him. Wilfred, we've come to terms by that point that he wasn't there to cause trouble. I don't know he was there for it, but he was not going to cause trouble. So, like, okay, he's not the problem. He's protective of the house. Don't know why he was throwing stuff in the kitchen, really, other than get attention, or why he yelled at my friend to get out of the house. He yelled at her to get out. He said, get out. Multiple times. And yeah. He stopped eventually, but for a while he was doing stuff like that. So. Did I just turn the power out? You know I've been playing too much, Oh, hello. What's the game called again? Oh my god, Boo Man. When I look at a TV and I think, ooh, can I steal it? Steal a TV. Sorry, what part were we on right now? Oh, there's a cursed object. Nice. Not gonna worry about this. Yay. Oh, it's probably in here somewhere. Oh, heads up. There's an ad popping up in a minute, you guys. Heads up. Let me see. Sorry. Where were we? Right. So we gotten used to him by that point. We realized he wasn't actually a problem. He wasn't trying to hurt anyone. He was just protective of the house, and he was actually protective of my niece. So, like, okay, cool. Don't drag her in. Don't invite her into all this crazy stuff. But, like, you know what? I'd rather him be protective of her than, you know, and against her or trying to hurt, you know? Like, let's be real here. So, let's see. Oh, where's outside? So, hold on, sorry. I'm trying to remember this. I'm getting tired. My brain's kind of going nuts. So let's see. He was there. Right, so I played Undertale, and I managed to see him while playing Undertale. And, I mean, there was another time where I was trying to go to sleep, and I needed, like, a silhouette. I want the TV on, but also darkness, but that's a whole other thing. That's a whole other weird situation. Like, I'm still happy, but, like, yay. Oh, I can't grab this. Okay, so we have that part. Let's see. I think it makes sense to move on to the park, because really, I don't remember too much of the crazy stuff at that point. So let's go ahead and jump to the next part, where this is where you get two other people who become very much aware of what was happening. Oh, hey,